I'm losing my voice, so hopefully we'll get through. Yeah, so my name's Tom Courtney. So I've been retired for about 4 years, but I love doing electromechanical software projects. And with what's happening in AI, I can't imagine any better time to retire. So, I have 5 grandkids, so a lot of my inspiration comes from creating things for my grandkids. So this is what I'm going to talk about today, my TNT Boom game. So AI helped me do a lot of the development of this game. I own my own 3D printer. I do a lot of my own design work to build this stuff. So let's get into it. So how many people are familiar? How many people are familiar with the Minecraft game? Almost everybody. So I assume you're familiar with the TNT block. Yeah. And anybody know how to defuse the block? How to defuse it? The anvil. So how to play this game is pretty simple. So there's a start button here, and you put this is the diffuser handle on it. So you put this like in another room, okay? And then there's a display here, and you push the button. You can set the level of difficulty from 1, which is pretty easy, to 10, which is nearly impossible. And I'll show you. So anyway, there's a tilt sensor in here, so there's a bubble level. And if you tilt it too much, it blows up and it goes boom. And you've got 20 seconds to diffuse it, okay, to win the game. So. Yeah, so this is the diffuser here. So yeah, you got 20 seconds to do that. Little start button here. And afterwards, if anybody wants to try this out, let you give it a whirl. Alright. So starting, first question is what microcontroller do I want to use? I've used lots of different. If any of you use different, like Arduinos or things like that. So I'll have a conversation, I use Gemini for most of this. And anyway, I ended up selecting ESP32C3 Super Mini, which is really small. It's only like $5, it's got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. Pretty much can do everything I want to do. So here's what it looks like on the inside. Kind of walk across here. So I hand soldered all this. This is that ESP, so that's the brain of the device. This is the tilt sensor. Okay, I'll talk a little bit more about that. There's a buzzer. I see buzzers up there. This is the OLED screen, for the user. And then down on the bottom is a RFID reader module. Okay, that's down here. And a resistor. That's then I got a battery pack, down here. So that's pretty much all the components. What's really slick is, I'll put like all of this into like Gemini Notebook LM, and I'll say make an electrical schematic for me, and then boom, I have a beautiful electrical. It used to get it wrong, like badly wrong in the past. It's gotten a lot better though at not making silly mistakes. So that's the power supply, ESP32, a signal to the buzzer, a signal to the push button to thing about these projects, I mentioned the display, and the tilt sensor, and this NFC, that's the RFID reader. They all work on the same principle. What's called an I2C bus. So there's basically just two lines, data and clock, that operate all three of these modules. So it reduces a lot of the soldering, a lot of complexity. Now, I'm a mechanical engineer. My background is mechanical engineering, so AI is selecting all of these for me. We're having dialogues about different options and things to do, but I'll be the first to admit I don't know exactly everything that's going on. But I can create stuff that works. Initially, I wanted to use a rechargeable, this 18, what do you call it? These 18650 rechargeable lithium-ion batteries. I prototyped it. You can buy these BMS boards, and I'm having these conversations about safety. So that's one question I have for you. Have any of you implemented a system with like an 18650? You felt good about it from a safety point of view? Maybe afterwards, if you have. That's why it's in the TNT. That's So this is for my grandkids. I built 3 of these things. So I just went with 4 AA batteries and said, I'm not going that route. So I learned some stuff, but safety is more important. This is just a view of the ESP32 chip. I talked about this before, the buzzer, the button. These are the 2 lines for the I2C, right? Go everything. So it's a very simple, very elegant structure. And I don't particularly like soldering. So there's not a lot of soldering to do. This is just showing that I2C bus. All of them they all run on 3.3 volts instead of 5 volts. The ESP32 outputs 3.3 volts. So I run all that, out of ground, and then the clock and data lines. That works really well. And then the buzzer and the pin, that's pretty straightforward to connect. And the buzzer uses a pulse width modulation signal to control the tone on the back. So the tilt, to me, this was one of the more fascinating parts of the project. So, as I showed you, it has a tilt sensor. Okay? And the way the tilt sensor works is this little module, which is only a few bucks. It doesn't measure tilt. Okay, it measures acceleration. Right? Like if I go like this and I accelerate, I'll get an acceleration signal. So what it's actually measuring is gravity, Earth's gravitation, Earth's gravity vector. Okay, and so when you rotate, it's basically getting the X, Y, Z components to figure out with the Earth going this way what the tilt must be. And the AI did all the math, and it worked the first time. Perfect. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. One of the other things that AI, just to make it nice, was the addition of the low pass filter. So, when you look at that, the bubble level. Actually, let me see if I can demo that real quick. So, the other day I was thinking, I'm going to give this demo. Is there a way for I can let you guys see what's on the screen? And so this has Wi-Fi in it, so this is going to become connect a Wi-Fi hotspot, and it's going to connect send all the game data to visualize this. Turn it off and back on. There we go. I'll go to here. TNT game. So this is sending the Wi-Fi not out of the display. It's actually sending all the game variables. And the HTML is rendering the screen. So when I play the game, hopefully you'll, if you had sound, it's also sending the sound. I don't know if there's anything you can do on your end to turn the sound on. Anyway, so when I tilt the box, you can select the level, from 1 to 10, and that's how much you can tilt it. So if you're a young kid, you're going to set it to like level 1, where you got like 21 degrees. All right, and then it says hold it level, because you want it level before you start, right? And then you start, and so this is what they see. They see a bubble level. Okay, looks like there's a little delay here. And then if you go too far, the thing blows up. And then you can play again. Level. So up here you've got the remaining time. And I don't know if you can hear it, but the pitch is going up as the time is, and then the closer the bubble gets to the edge, the repetition. And so if I confuse it, just on the initial time. So that's the bubble level. Probably better if you see it. But one thing that's really cool, I showed you selecting the level. Initially, I was saying I want to add a difficulty now, like 1 to 10, to select it now. And the AI said you don't need it now. You can use the tilt sensor for that function. I'm like, oh, that's freaking brilliant. So this is the, I mentioned, so in the bottom of this thing, there's an RFID module. And then, so I 3D printed this whole thing, and then underneath the anvil is an RFID card. Okay? So when you get to about a half an inch, module on the bottom here, recognizes that RFID. So you can buy this on Amazon. All this stuff is dirt cheap. So when you buy it, you get an RFID card, which I use. You also get like a little tag, and then this little chip, with an antenna on it. It works great. That's what I just said. So for the coding part, so I use Google Gemini Canvas for creating all the Arduino code. And I'll be the first to admit I don't think I looked at any of the code. And then I use the Arduino IDE, to do all my testing. And I go back and forth. So what does that look like? So this is what it looks like. So that's where I'm talking to Google Gemini, and then it's updating my code. So I'm doing Control A, Control Copy, and then I go over to my Arduino IDE and I paste the code. And then I try it out, and I come back here and I said, that didn't work, or I got this error code. It's a phenomenal debugger. Probably most of my time is spent debugging as opposed to developing features. And it's phenomenally good. And it'll create tests for me to run so it can figure out what the problem is. So In the past, this would have been really frustrating. Okay, it's a joy to do this work. You know, there's some of these bugs. I would have kicked that project to the curb, right? But with AI, you know, it's easy to get through all these problems. Well, easy. Like one time, not on this project, but there was another project, really thorny project, and the AI said, go on Amazon and buy a little logic analyzer for $10. Okay? You know, you can look at the digital ones and zeros. And it said, once you get it, it's going to cost you $10. You can turn your Windows computer into a logic analyzer. It said, hook it up to these, you know, 4 digital channels, and then screenshot, give me the screenshot. Right? So I did all that. I pasted the screenshot and said, switch wires 6 to 7, 7 to 6. Another damn thing. I think I'll save all this. But it just finds, I'm not a skip guy. There's just a million things that helps me. Oh, so this is a post-mortem. So one of my grandkids is 6 years old. His name's Teddy. He likes to solder. So when I'm with Teddy and I do a lot of soldering together. And one day I got a phone call from my son. And the teacher had called his dad saying, Teddy told the class that his grandpa is teaching him how to make bombs. Seriously. And the teacher was not happy. So my son, he's like, Dad, you can't use the word bomb with Teddy. You know? So I call it the Minecraft TNT boom game. Right? It's not the bomb game. Whatever that's word. So what did this thing cost? About $21. You know, to build this whole thing. You know, the ESP32, like $4. The OLED screen, that tilt sensor, you know, this RFID thing, battery stuff, you know, my plastic for my 3D printing, you know, so $21 for a lot of fun.
Any cost for the AI? Any cost to the AI?
$20 a month. I use Gemini Pro. And then for the design work, I won't do a demo here, but anybody use FreeCAD for 3D design? It's a free open source, full 3D design. And AI, you know, it's been 40 years since I've done design work. And AI is phenomenally good. You know, I'll say, how do I do this? Blah, 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 blah. Go to this menu. I mean, it's seriously good at getting me proficient at using a complicated tool like that. So it's fun. So I get to do the design work, and then I'll 3D print this stuff. I think total print time was probably 12 hours of printing. So that's it. So really, you know, what used to be super frustrating, you know, with all these problems now, you kind of get this flow mode going, and it's a lot of fun. So I encourage people to, if you've got a desire to go, you know, explore something, the tools are there to do nearly anything you want to do. Questions?
So you being a mechanical engineer, is there a V2 where the TNT would actually fly apart? An actual explosion.
I gotta be careful with these.
Or the concentration.
There you go.
Yeah.
RFID.
Springs.
So for you, the 9K, but I don't program on large regular computers, but the microcontrollers.
Nice humble brag.
The microcontrollers, I mean, that was like a C program, right? It was generated by AI, and the interface to the microcontroller, you just upload it, and then upload the binary, and then it just runs that study program on the microcontroller.
It's like a C++ sort of thing.
With a lot of acronyms.
Yeah.
It does have a little OS in there, but it's mostly just push it blow up if you move too fast.
What's that?
Since they sell it out there, it's a blow up if you move too fast.
Yeah. Actually, when you play the game, if you walk too fast, you can also trip.
Add difficulties.
Yeah. Well, you understood the accelerometer.
Have you found that the AI can do the 3D design for you too, or is it just coaching you?
No, I've experimented. There are some things, meshing, it's called. And I've done a little of this where I can give it a 2D image, and it'll create a 3D object, and it's not bad. Like years ago, I had created this children's book called the Poppy Loppy with a kangaroo. So I gave this program a picture of that kangaroo, and it rendered a 3D object of a kangaroo, holding a crutch. And then but no, I don't. I know there's people working on that. I've talked to some companies actually doing that. So I think it's just a matter of time.
I've got a question. Have you played Minecraft yet?
No.
You're retired. You got plenty of time. Get in there.
I'm the one sitting next to Teddy and Sophia Rubenman.
They enjoyed the game though.
Oh, they love it, yeah.
How much more would they enjoy it if you played it with them?
All right, I hear you loud and clear.
Come on, Grandpa. Let's get the nether stones. Come on.
No. I used to use, more of the ChatGPT thing, and I was getting a lot of software bugs. I made a personal decision to stay in the Google ecosystem. Like this entire presentation, I loaded all of my notebook LM. Okay, I loaded in my Arduino code. I loaded in pictures of everything. I loaded in specs of all the modules, and I said, I'm giving a presentation here, and I want the flow to be roughly like this. Most of what you see here was like the first pass out. I mean, that seriously made my jaw drop.
You got the Minecraft font in his
Yeah, I can tell what to do in there.
With the success you had and sort of the lack of frustration, what's your next project?
Well, so what I'm almost done with, that's a lot of fun, I hacked Roomba. And so I've got an Xbox, I've got a game controller, and then on the Roomba, I have a larger LCD with a pair of eyeballs. And as you drive it, the eyeballs are looking where it goes. And then it actually reads when it bumps into something. It detects it, and then it goes.
So, to be retired.
Matt might have some advice for you on that front. My dance. Everyone's on. I use ChatGPT. There you go.
Cool. Any other questions for Tom? Oh, one more. Go for it.
Did you ever consider salary or licensing any of these projects?
Yeah, actually, I had a long discussion with Gemini. Microsoft apparently owns this license, so it gave me some ideas on how to maintain the character of the game, but reshape it.
Boy, those CDs, eh? The cease and desists.
So I have thought about that. I might do that because I've done 4 or 5 other projects. I think this is the one that has been the most interesting for the kids.
Good thing you didn't use Copilot.
Oh, good thing I used Copilot.
We would snitch on you.